All right. Welcome, welcome to Hulk Gray. Um, this one's pretty good. I do like this one. Written by Jeff Loeb, drawn by Tim Sale again. This one, Hulk Gray. If you don't know, some trivia. Hulk was gray at first, and then he became green after a while because of printing issues. But they decided to have this issue with him as gray instead of green as the original. And as some of you might know, I don't know if everybody knows this, but each color of the Hulk is a different version. Each one's like a different personality. So usually the gray Hulk is Joe Fixit. Believe in the comics, he was originally gray. They showed Joe Fixit as him, and then he becomes green for a minute after he's already been gray. But yeah, usually he shows up, gets that gamma bomb on him, gray for like a second, and then he turns green. But I mean, that changes like every other year, I'm sure. This one is not super accurate to the start of the Hulk, but it's kind of just a telling. And unlike the other colors, instead of him writing a letter to somebody, he's talking to his friend who is a psychiatrist named Leonard. So it's kind of a one-on-one conversation talking about Betty Ross, who is his love interest, but also the daughter of his worst enemy, Thunderbolt Ross, who is the Red Hulk. I don't know if you've seen the Captain America movie. I did not yet. I heard it's okay. I just didn't want to go bother seeing it. I heard it's going to be on digital soon, so I'll probably watch it then. But no, I love Captain America. I love Sam Wilson too. Just I wasn't super interested in seeing that movie and spending money on it. But yeah, Thunderbolt Ross becomes the Red Hulk, but that's not what this is about. This is just kind of the origin story, just like the other color series where you see how Bruce became the Hulk and him talking with Betty and his kind of love for Betty. And this is written. Betty Ross has been dead for a long time. She's not dead right now, but when this was made, I believe she was dead. She comes back as like the Red Hulk, Red She-Hulk, I'm sorry. Whatever. That Red Hulk blood runs in that Thunderbolt Ross DNA. So, yeah. But that has nothing to do with this. So, we're just going to hop right in. So, we start with Bruce talking to his friend Leonard. Yeah, he says, yeah, it's a mistake. Should have kept moving. Whoever it is that's chasing me, and it always is someone, will know to look for me here, particularly on this day, because it's my wedding anniversary. And it's not his wedding anniversary anymore, because Betty Ross hit that croak boat, dog. She is dead right now. So he's talking to Leonard, who is a psychiatrist. But he's also, I don't know if you know this, but he is Sasquatch. So he becomes Doc Sasquatch. I think there's a little bit of difference between the two different Sasquatch people. But yeah, he gets infected with gamma radiation sometime and becomes character known as the Sasquatch, who's also part of like Alpha Flight. Was like part of Canadians' way of testing for the Hulk stuff. So yeah, whatever. He becomes that thing. But Bruce is like, I don't know if I should be here. And Samson's like, you just need somebody to talk to. Like, I don't mind talking to you, man. He's like, I know you're in the rain and everything, but yeah, like you didn't come halfway across the country to visit me to get out of the rain. And Bruce obviously is tweaking, and he's like, I don't know what's weirder, having a friend who's a psychiatrist or having a psychiatrist but who's a friend. But yeah, he's like, I wouldn't have that tone. He's getting all angry, all mad. You get to see, I love this little black and white stuff at the beginning and the end of this run, is that they emphasize the colors a lot. So you see him kind of shifting into the Hulk being green. But he's like, don't be afraid. Like, I've been afraid all my life as the Hulk. But Leonard starts showing some photographs of his file that he has on him. He's like, yeah, everybody's got a file, Bruce. So shows him Thunderbolt Ross, and it's like, you hate him. No, Bruce says, it's the other way around. Thunderbolt Ross hates me. I don't hate him. He is the father of my wife. Shows him Rick, who is a very important person. This guy is the reason that he becomes the Hulk and also turns into a character named A-Bomb, who is just like a trash abomination. He's like, I would say he's like the Jimmy Olsen of Marvel. He's just there doing random stuff, doing random things. He's been Captain America's sidekick for like a little minute because he looks like Bucky Barnes, and they do emphasize that he looks like Bucky Barnes in this because Tim Sale drew him to look exactly like him, and Bucky Barnes and Captain America White look the exact same, and I love it. But yeah, he's been everywhere. He's done stuff with Miss Marvel. He's married somebody else from the Hulk or whatever. I can't remember. But he's done random stuff that just like, what are you doing? But it doesn't matter. And then lastly, he shows Betty. He's like, where did you get this picture of Betty? It's like, it's in your file, dude. And then now he goes on this big rant. And it's like, I haven't seen this in a long time. And then Doc starts hitting the good questions. It's like, why did you come over here tonight? Like, talk to me, man. Like, where do you want to start? Your parents, blah, blah, blah. And Banner's like, I think everybody knows about the parent stuff already. But if you want to start it, we'll start at the beginning where A is for Apple. And I love that every issue is, it's 6 issues, but it's like A, B, C, D, E. It's amazing. They do that stuff. But so they start with the Gamma Bomb. And I love that panel of men are getting hit with the Gamma Bomb. But he's telling Leonard, like, ever heard one of those nightmares where you're terrified you're calling for help? Nothing comes out? Well, that's this. Then we cut to Thunderbolt Ross screaming, like, what the hell is wrong with you people? I had to hold myself. What the hell is wrong with you people? Like, we just set off one of the biggest weapons, and there's a person over there. Like, what? You didn't have a second glance to see that nobody should be there? And then Betty's in the back, like, where's Banner? What happened to him? What happened to Banner? And he knows full well that Bruce was out there on there getting hit by that big bomb. But this is when Thunderbolt Ross kind of realizes that they like each other. Like, that Betty has feelings for Bruce, but he's like, you have to calm down. Like, this is a bad look on me. And she's like, I just want the truth of where Banner is. And we cut to Banner inside of the doctor's office because Rick brought him here, and he's like, this is my dad. He's sick. Like, something happened. The wrong place, wrong time. We just want to see if he's okay. Like, he was in an accident. So the doctor's like, I mean, I'll find a shirt for you, but you seem okay. And then Rick's like, you hear that? Like, you're gonna be okay. Let's get going. But Banner's like, there's a ton of stuff that Rick did wrong, and also he's lucky that we didn't just die right there. So then he just screams at Rick. He's like, do you understand, like, what is happening? Like, what just happened is that we were inside of a gamma bomb explosion. The military is going to get us. I saved you, but you ruined my life. And then he's like, you understand that nobody just injects a bunch of gamma radiation like that and is okay. And that's where we see the green eyes show up. He's like, I had this awful feeling of dread that something's bothering you, couldn't tell what it was. That's what was happening to me. And he turns into the Hulk. We get to see him turn into this gray Hulk, and Rick's like, what are you? And he just responds, the strongest there is. And then this is where Rick gives him the name. He's like, what are you, some kind of hulking? And then the Hulk's like, Hulk? I'm the Hulk. But yeah, he's gray right now. And Banner's like, I wasn't green at first. There's some theories about that over the years. I've had some of my own, Leonard, but that doesn't really matter right now. And what they don't really show in this, and it really is up to the writer, is that the Hulk is smarter than Banner, but I think in this he's like pretty stupid, and it's because they kind of treat him as like a newborn not really understanding what's going on. But it's been written that the Hulk is like almost, it's either smarter or as smart as Banner. Like, it is a separate personality, and he's a genius. He's just not, he can't talk very well. But yeah, there's instances of the Hulk just saying crazy stuff, being smart as hell. Like, for Immortal Hulk, I love that run, by the way. It's so good. Like, he's not an idiot like people think. He's not just, Hulk smash me bad. Like, he's a genius. And we just don't see a lot of that. But yeah, in this, he's kind of just an idiot. And I think they kind of just get away with it because he just spawned in. This is new. But yeah, Rick's like, not big in the vocabulary, but like, Army's about to bust in here and get us, dude. And the Hulk's like, Army is bad, go away, and just leaves. We see him like jump out, but yeah, this is where Banner kind of talks about he's not a hero, and Hulk is usually seen as an anti-hero. Like, he's killed people. I love the Immortal Hulk first issue where he just crushes that guy, the robber, because he's not a good person. How can you be what people want to, like, how can you be a hero when all you do is really destroy at the end of the day? But he talks about that. He's like, when my brain can be used to like cure cancer to help people, but instead it built a weapon of mass destruction. Like, that's how I am. And then we just see the military come and actually chase down the Hulk. But he kind of blames himself for the Gamma Bomb, and he's like, this is what I deserve. But yeah, we see the military start shooting at Hulk. He just beats them up, throws them away, and he's like, leave him alone. Like, I got a wife. Smashes him. We just see him survive bullets, explosions, jump in a single bound, and then after defeating the military, like that small little truck or two of soldiers, he's like, from that incident, Leonard, I was at war with the Army. And then Ross is like, what? Talking to the people that survived that attack. He's like, what happened? What is that thing? And Betty comes in. It's like, is that Bruce? Bruce alive? And he's like, somebody was matching Bruce's description was at the clinic, but no, that was not what we're talking about. We're talking about some random thing. Banner's probably dead. And then we see Betty crying, and Banner comes up to go see Betty, and he's like, it's the first time that I could feel the Hulk was actually part of me, not a separate thing. I turned into it. At that moment, we had the same thought. We thought about Betty. And that ends issue 1. Now, issue 2 starts with Hulk knocking on Betty's door. It's like, yeah, told her to keep that door locked. But I remember as a kid going to the movies thinking that there'd be a Frankenstein and that a beautiful girl would open it and the audience would scream and run away. Leonard, am I insane? But yeah, he continues. That's the problem with living in a world that's not black and white. That's what makes it all gray. Obviously, talking about how he's the Gray Hulk. But yeah, Betty's like, is that you, Dad? And she opens the door and sees a giant monster. And he's like, why didn't I was confused. Like, the Hulk could have destroyed the house to get to her, but he knows that he couldn't have shown that side of destruction to Betty because Betty didn't know that him and Banner were one of the same. But Leonard kind of acts as a voice of reason to Banner, kind of trying to calm him down. It's like, yeah, like, why does anybody do anything? Like, you created a weapon of mass destruction and ran out into the testing field to save somebody, right? Like, that's like, people don't do the most rational stuff. And Betty, whenever she sees the Hulk, instead of screaming and running, she's like, what kind of thing are you? And also, like, you're that monster everybody's looking for. Like, where's Bruce at? Like, I want Bruce. And instead of like screaming and running away, she starts hitting him and is like, I want Bruce back. But Banner's like, you want Banner. Hulk hates the Banner because the Hulk is the Banner, and Banner hates himself. So, yeah. Bruce goes they were supposed to halt the launch. They were told to stop. And then Leonard's like, yeah, Like, Betty was told not to open the door and she did it, and you still went out there and did it. He's like, yeah, but I went out there to help. And it's like, you didn't help. Like, you put yourself in harm's way. 6 seconds before the actual launch, he would have died. He was an orphan also, so nobody would have missed him. And Bruce is like, it's a human though. But Leonard's like, yeah, it wasn't okay for Rick to die, but like, you would jump out and die too. So Bruce is like, Leonard, what are you trying to say? Like, I want to die? Which, yes, Bruce is like super suicidal. Like, I'm surprised that he's tried to kill himself so many times as the Hulk too. But yeah, after they have that conversation together, Thunderbolt Ross comes back home with some soldiers all trained at Hulk. He tells Hulk to put Betty down, and then the soldier's like, I'll shoot him right I'll drop him right now if you want me to, sir. And then Bruce goes back to talking to Leonard. He's like, what about Betty? Like, she was young and had stuff to live for. And Leonard's like, yeah, her father told her that the man she loved was more than dead. But Bruce then goes back and is like, yeah, her dad kind of lives in that black and white world. So the Hulk says Ross's name, and Ross is like, how the hell does he know my name? So Ross gives the order to shoot, and Hulk instead does like a ground pound and lets Betty down on the floor. So he lets Betty down because he doesn't want her to get injured. But what he says is like, I'm the monster, but her own dad would shoot me knowing that my skin is bulletproof because of the other soldiers and risk his own daughter, and they call me the monster. But then we cut to Ross saying, if you hurt one hair on my on my daughter's head, I'll kill you. And Hulk's like, just leave me alone, man. And he jumps away. But Ross goes and back to his daughter, and he's like, I want every piece of equipment chasing after that thing. We'll show that Hulk or whatever it's want to be called not to mess with us. And that's like the first time Hulk's ever dealt with Ross. And then he goes back to talk to Betty after she's kind of calmed down. He's like, I've given you some of this medicine. Your mom used to have it. I can get refilled on the base. And then he laments about how he wanted a boy, kind of, basically, but he's scared that Betty will turn out just like her mom. And her mom died from cancer. That's just how, I'm pretty sure that's how it is. But yeah. So Ross also is like, if you know anything about it, let me know, because it's so weird that the Hulk came to see you, Betty. And then he leaves. And then Betty instantly wakes up. And then Bruce is like, I don't understand how they came from each other. Like, how Betty with so much heart came from Ross, who had nothing. So we cut to the next day. Rick's out there trying to find Bruce. And he does, in the middle of like some random rocky terrain, shirtless just in the pants. He tells Leonard, yeah, like Rick's voice sounded terrible. Like I was so disassociated, I had no idea what was happening. My eyes was jellied, my tongue was dry, my stomach was rolling. It's like the worst hangover ever. But yeah, he's like, how did you find me? It wasn't hard because there's a bunch of destruction and everything. But Leonard's like, how was it worse besides just feeling physically? Like, other than that, it can't be that worse. And Bruce is like, I don't think you understand, Leonard. Like, you ever gotten like super drunk, like done a bunch of bad stuff, wrecked your car, cheated on your wife, woke up the next day to somebody you can't remember? Now imagine doing that with gamma radiation. Then Leonard obviously never doesn't get it at this point, but yeah. So Rick talks to him. He's like, I'm not gonna understand how you became that thing, but we gotta get out of here, because if I found you, military's obviously gonna find us too. And he's like, I'm not gonna abandon you because everybody else has abandoned me. So let's go. And Bruce is like, okay, I know a place then. So they go into a cave, and it's like an old nuclear waste place where they got rid of all their waste, obviously. But he's like, I'm going to go in here, seal the door. What I want you to do, Rick, is just seal me in, press that red button. Don't let me out. And Rick's like, are you, like, this is a bad idea, dude. He locks him in there just like Banner told him, and he's like waiting out there. He's like, Doc, you hear me, Bruce? And then we just hear the Hulk smash and thumping on the door, and it's like, let me out, dude. Like screaming, let me out. And he's like, when the Hulk is out, Hulk will smash. And he's like, Rick's like, you asked me to do this. I'm sorry. Like still punching it. And the ending of the issue is with Banner saying, yeah, Leonard, I couldn't tell you who's more frightened, Rick or me, because he understands what this thing is that he has become. Then we start with issue 3. C is for cry. And this is pretty sad. I think it's really sad. So we cut to a little bit later. Hulk's holding a bunny, and he's like, this is my friend. Hulk-like friend. This bunny is gray like me. And then he accidentally kills it. And I think that's really sad. He's like, Hulk's alone again. He doesn't understand what he did. And then he's like, yeah, Ross called me a monster. Like, I'm not a monster. Starts destroying stuff. And it's like, Leonard's like, I don't understand. Why'd you tell me that story? And Bruce is like, I don't know, Leonard. Like, I just remembered it. And Leonard is kind of like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like, oh. And Bruce is like, don't do that, man. Like, don't condescend me, man, where you act like I'm an idiot for not telling you what I already do know when I really don't know. And then Leonard's like, you're overanalyzing me. And then he continues on, like, you came all the way in the middle of the night to talk, and out of everything you've talked about, you went more in depth about this rabbit that you had. I'm sorry, but I know why you talked about the rabbit. And then Bruce is like, I think it's just because it's the first time the Hulk's actually ever killed anything. And then Leonard's like, so this was like the turning point before the Hulk was innocent and not innocent? Bruce is like, no. Like, the Hulk is a lot of stuff. Strong, smart, but innocent is not one of them. So then the army finds Rick and is like, hey, where's that Hulk thing? Like, you know where he's at. And Rick's like, I don't know what you mean. So they knock him out, take him in. Ross is like, listen, Rick, your name is Rick, right? Like, I'm going to ask the questions playing bad cop. Rick's like, I don't care, man. Like, I'm not telling you where all this stuff is. And Ross is flaunting his rank, telling him about all this, these are stars on my jacket for a reason, boy. And then he continues on, talking about how many laws Rick's probably broken jumping into the test site for the gamma bomb. But yeah, he's like, where is Bruce? Also, like, he's one of our prized assets. Like, you know where Bruce is? And he's like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you about anything about Bruce or this Hulk. And then Ross is like, how do you know the Hulk? Why do you care? He's going to kill you. And then Rick's like, the Hulk doesn't want to hurt anybody. He wants to be alone. And Ross is like, oh, so I thought you said you didn't know him. Like, you just lied to me. But then we get back to Leonard and Bruce talking. He's like, I bet you, if we count how many lives the Hulk made miserable versus the damage Ross has done, Ross has more than me, the Hulk. And Leonard's like, yeah, I don't know if I'd take that bet, Bruce. Like, if it's the same to you, though, but that's not what this is about. It's about one person. That one person being Betty. And Betty shows up, and Ross is like, what are you doing here? Betty's like, it's not safe at the house. Like, he's already been to the house, and I'm just looking for more on Banners. Any word on Bruce? Like, do you know where Bruce is at? And he's like, I don't know. Like, we're trying to find out, Betty. It's okay. And then we get to see the Hulk screaming and jumping again, and then finds Rick's jacket where Rick got kidnapped at, and he's like, oh, the army is bad. And then Bruce is like, in those days, nobody had no idea what they were dealing with Ross. So cut back to Ross again, fighting with Rick again. And this rich man, I won't spoil who it is talking to Betty. He's like, you must be tough if you're that guy's daughter. And then we get to see Ross smack Rick. And Leonard's like, he hit a civilian? And Bruce is like, dude, he's done way worse. Like, You understand this is Thunderbolt Ross. But Betty breaks it up and is like, hey, don't hit him. So the Hulk comes crashing through. Hulk smash the door and saves Rick, leaves, and is like, Betty, because he realized he hurt Ross, and Betty's upset. And she's like, stop saying my name like you know me, like you don't know who I am. And then he runs away with Betty instead of Rick. And then this man crashes through the window, and he's like, yeah, see, Ross, I think we do have a common problem. The army brass doesn't think you can handle this Hulk much, and you don't think I can do it, but how about I give it a shot? And he's holding the briefcase, and if you don't know what that is early on, you'll see in a second. But Hulk takes Betty to, I guess, like an ocean or a lake or something, gives her some water, and then Iron Man appears, shoots him in the back, tells the Hulk to put Betty down. He's like, I'm taking the girl back. I don't want to hurt you, but I will if I have to. And Banner tells Leonard, he's like, I'll never understand this. People say the stupidest things when they know they can't win, because let's be honest, the Iron Man is not beating the Hulk. So this starts with issue 4, Iron Man versus the Hulk. D is for dog. So Banner screams robot. Iron Man introduces himself. I think this is the Mark 1 or the Mark 2. It's definitely the Mark 2. It's gold, but it's like, yeah, you're not bright, dude. Like, I'm not a robot. You're thinking you're fighting the invincible Iron Man. Blast him. So Leonard is like, hey, like, Bruce, you're telling me this story. I've read about every battle. I have never read about you fighting Iron Man while you were gray. And he's like, this is like not in the Avengers archives. Like you first encountered each other when the Avengers formed, whenever Rick, also important, called, and you guys formed together to fight against the Hulk. Like Iron Man recorded most of those early adventures himself. They're in the Stark library. And Bruce is like, Stark wrote all this stuff himself? Yeah, no wonder. Like, dude was nation's leading munitions manufacturer. Like, you do the math, Leonard. No, why would he do that? Why would he say that he lost against the Hulk? So, why don't you do us a favor, Leonard? Shut up and let me tell this story. So, the Hulk is just walloping on Iron Man, kicks him, and he's like, I want to be left alone. And then he looks at Betty, he's like, we're safe. And Betty's like, I don't understand. What do you want? Like, why? What do you want from me? Bruce is like, I don't know what to tell her. Like, I can't tell her that I love her. I'm the Hulk. Iron Man comes back, grabs the Hulk, flies him up in the air, and he's like, you have to breathe because you're a living being. So Banner tells Leonard, he's like, I read something, it's about a dog. One of those things that you hear as a child that just stays with you. He's like, yeah, the dog's owner tied the dog to a tree in the yard and tortured him by grabbing a gun and shooting near the dog, but not actually shooting the dog and just scaring it so that he could feel powerful, just to traumatize it. And he's like, yeah, he went on and did that for days, and until he ran out of bullets, got drunk, untied the dog from the tree, and what did the dog do? It bit his hand off, ripping through flesh and bone, all because the owner kept scaring him. And while he's telling this story to Leonard, it's just the Hulk walloping on Iron Man. First off, he like rips his hand off, flies down into the water, grabs the Hulk, smashing him into the water. Iron Man's like, you'll kill us, dude. And he's like, yeah, like, I don't think you understand, Robot Man. You're attacking me. You hurt me, so me hurt you back. Bam, 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 just punching him until he's finally done, and he accidentally hits Betty when she tries to stop the fight. But he grabs Betty, and he's like, Betty needs help. I gotta, me fix Betty. flies away, leaves Iron Man sitting in the water. And Leonard asks the questions like, between you and Ross, which one is the dog and which one's the owner? Because that's kind of what he's talking about, is like, one of us grabs a hold of the other and forces the other one to retaliate. And Leonard or Banner's like, honestly, I don't know. Some days I can't tell which one is which. But that leads us into issue 5. E is for elephant. The Hulk is grabbing a first aid kit and he's like, the Hulk will help Betty. And Leonard's like, hey, are you okay, Bruce? It's like, because you've been standing in my office looking at the rain and you haven't said anything in 15 minutes, dude. And until now, you got to the part where Hulk hurt Betty and you were chatty before and now you're all silent. And Bruce corrects him, is like, not when I hurt Betty, when I hurt Betty the first time. And because I would say they have a pretty toxic relationship. It's a lot of, like, they love each other, but it's a lot of Bruce being the Hulk, being this monster, hiding for a while because everybody hates him. Like, when you are one of the strongest things on the earth, if not one of the strongest, and everybody wants to kill you, I mean, yeah, you're not safe. So, and then if you're connected to that, you're not safe either. But then we see the local police, who will do nothing, see the Hulk and it's like, yeah, we think somebody's breaking in. What is this? And they start shooting at the Hulk. He jumps off, runs away, and he's like, I have to fix Betty. And they're like, who the hell is Betty? Back into the desert. He's starting to help Betty. But Leonard's like, that's weird. Like, you didn't hurt the police at all. You just ran away. See, that's not the mindless beast that Ross says you are. And he's like, yeah, Ross lying, classic. And then he kind of tells Leonard, he's like, yeah, but honestly, don't excuse the Hulk for anything. Like, he is a monster. The Hulk patches Betty up and he's like, I'm sorry. Betty wakes up and is like, where am I? It's like, I can't, this can't be happening. Like, I'm in a nightmare. Like, what is this? Hulk doesn't know what to do. He just gives every thing of medicine. He's like, Hulk is sorry. I'm real. And then Betty takes it eventually. And he's like, she's like, this is useless. Like, why'd you get so much? And Hulk's like, me no know. And then Betty goes off, heals herself, and is like, I don't care what you are. You're a beast that destroys everything. Like, you're not going to hurt me. And then he gets up. He's like, yell at me. That makes me mad. And then instead of Betty doing anything, or she's like, I'm sorry. Like, I won't yell at you. You're right. And then Hulk gives her a mirror so that she can help herself. And Leonard's like, is this what actually happened or how you remembered it? And Bruce is like, I can't answer that. Like, I don't know. He's like, maybe she's remarkable, but maybe this is just how I remember her as. Like, maybe I remember her better than what she actually was. Sue me, because that's my wife, and she's dead. But Betty's like, I want to go home. Like, this is not where I want to be. Like, this is cold, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want to be here. Thunder goes off. The Hulk gets upset, and he's like, nothing can hurt me. Leaves, grabs some stuff to make a campfire, tells Betty to stay. So he lit it, and he's like, now you're warm. You said you were cold, and now you can stay. Betty can always stay. And then she's crying, and he's like, I want to go home, and please let me go. And Leonard's like, yeah, she tried to make a deal with the Hulk. That doesn't go well. And Bruce is like, yep, you're correct. It never does. But Betty's like, I don't think you understand. Like, I'm not happy here. Like, maybe I am better off dead. Like, I don't want to be here. So the Hulk, trying to understand, is like, why are you sad? And Betty's like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, you're not going to leave me alone, but like, is this what you want from me? And he's like, I just want to protect you. And Betty's like, protect me from what? Like, the only thing I'm afraid of is you. Like, you're the only thing that's making me afraid that you need to protect yourself from. And then the military's here, Ross. And that leads us into issue 6, F is for father. So the Hulk goes and attacks the airplane with Ross in it. He's like, Ross is hunting me. I'm going to get you, dude. But Leonard's like, yeah, Bruce, it's Dawn. And Bruce is like, yeah, like I thought you wanted to hear the story. And Leonard's like, no, it's not that. It's like the sun is coming up, and whatever it is that's looking for you is going to have an easier time to do it. And Bruce is like, okay, I'll leave. And he's like, no, we have a few minutes. Like, what you're building up to is crucial. That's why you came here. But Banner's like, I don't know, Leonard. The only thing I'm sure is that I really wanted to kill Ross that night. And that might have been the smartest thing the Hulk's ever thought of. But he didn't do it. So he pulls Ross out, holds him up there, and he's like, I don't think any of us could have lived on from that point if the Hulk did kill Ross. But Leonard's like, you need to remember that the Hulk didn't take his life. Like, you can't blame yourself and call the Hulk a monster. Like, you didn't do it yet. It's like, this early on, you didn't have control of all your faculties. Like, you didn't take his life, no matter how much he deserved it. That's the good thing. And Bruce is like, you're kidding, right, Leonard? Like, no matter how much he deserved it, are you baiting me? Like, what do you mean? Nobody deserves to die, Leonard. Just because he's like a bad person doesn't mean he deserves to die. But in between, while they're talking, Ross and the Hulk are screaming at each other. Ross is asking, he's like, you want me to beg for you not to kill me? Like, I don't care. If you kill me, I'll show everybody what a monster you are, because you're a monster. And if you let me live, no matter where you go, you'll never be alone. And the Hulk just says, Hulk is not a monster. And then we see that the soldiers have their sights on him, and he's like, shoot him. Like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we can't do that. Like, he's bulletproof. Like, if you shoot him, it might kill you. And Betty's like, yeah, don't shoot. But Ross is still screaming. But Betty interferes again because she knows the Hulk will listen to him. Is like, Hulk, put him down. Like, that's my dad. Like, please put him down. Like, you don't understand. But Ross is still like, why aren't you shooting? And Betty's like, yeah, because if they shoot, it's going to kill you, dude. Like, you know that. And Ross is like, how's my life any more important than the monster? Like, he probably killed Banner. You know that, right, Betty? And Hulk's like, Hulk hate Banner. And Hulk hate Ross. So Ross is kind of using that, and he's like, do you see what this creature is? Like, you still want to play like a child? Like, you're confusing this defiance with heroism that you're doing. But the Hulk, seeing Betty upset, just is like, puts him down. And Betty's like, yeah, like, I understand he's a bad person, but like, I still love him. He's my dad. Like, please don't kill him. So the Hulk responds and is like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not a monster. I don't want to hurt you. Ross is a monster, and he always hurts you. Like, what do you like, what? Why do you care? But he puts down Ross and jumps away. And all Bruce says is like, I'm not exaggerating, Leonard. I don't know what it has when it comes to Ross, but like, he is what he is, and I am what I am. The Hulk is Hulk. So, kind of end the story with Bruce is like, yeah, I went back to the base. I just cobbled up some clothes, looked like I was fine. I came with Rick. They were like, where have you been, Banner? And he's like, I got lost out in the desert. Rick found me. And he's like, Rick found you? You have no idea how much time I spent searching for you? And Banner's like, I'm sorry. And then they both get into an argument again. But then we cut back to Leonard and Bruce talking into the office. And Banner's like, I understand now, like, why Betty loved me. It's because me and Ross are very similar. And she'll always love Ross because it's her dad, obviously. But she could obviously love me because I'm also a monster. Like, I'm familiar. And Leonard's like, hey, we don't, like, let's stop talking about that. Like, it's not so black and white. And he's like, I understood for so long. Like, I was just a coward. Like, me and Ross we're the same. What's the difference? And he starts getting all angry, and he turns into the Green Hulk. Says the whole world wants to stop me. No more. Smashes out the building, runs away into the desert, and looks at the picture of Betty, and he's like, there's so many other stories of what happened afterwards, but they will always be colored by the knowledge that she loved me for all the wrong reasons. And then it ends. So thank you for listening, watching, whatever you choose to do with this. Next is Captain America White. This was a pretty long one. I didn't think it'd be that long. I honestly thought it'd be shorter than the other ones, but it's whatever. Peace out.